Well, we're live. Hello, I'm your host, Mark Ruiz Evans. I've been doing a lot of different things, covering California politics, California culture since 2012. It is my pleasure to interview a colleague of a friend of mine, Quinn Reynolds. Today, we're going to be interviewing Greg Tatum. Greg is connected to ShoNuff Voice Acting. There's his information, ShoNuffvoiceacting at yahoo.com. 870-267-4371. That's 870-267-4371, or ShoNuff Voice Acting at yahoo.com. And we'll be conducting an interview with him. Here's a little bit more on the interview that we're going to be having. I have a series of questions for you, Greg. I hope you're willing to participate with me. But before we get into the questions, could you just talk about who you are? Who is Greg? Where were you born? Where were you raised? How did you get into voice acting, etc.? Just real quick. We're going to do a more in-depth interview, but I like to start off the interview with people at least having a general overview of who the person is. So in about a minute.
Okay.
We're going to do an interview, and they go, Greg, you have the job, but I need to know a little bit about who is Greg? Who's Greg? How would you describe yourself in a minute? How would you frame yourself and why you're here?
Well, first off, I want to thank you for having me on your show, and it's an honor to be here. And I'm just ready to rock and roll. Greg is a jack of all trades, one. Go-getter for two. I've never closed the door on opportunity, so that's kind of how we met. And I was born and raised in Pineville, Arkansas, and I still reside here now. Took a little time. I moved to Virginia, moved down to Georgia, kind of stayed around for a little while, but I always came back home. So born and raised in Pineville, Arkansas. I'm a country boy. I hunt, fish, the whole 9 yards, and I do voiceover. I call my little setup in my studio the Asylum because I hear voice in this studio, and I actually do voice. So when you talk to the microphone setup, and the speakers actually talk back, so it kind of feels like we're in kind of an insane asylum a little bit. But but as far as I'm concerned, I'm a pretty boring guy. Sad to say, but I just kind of work, fish, hunt, and sleep and repeat.
My dad did a lot of that. I'm from the Central Valley. We have some Southerners here. They came from Oklahoma, a lot of hunting and fishing. So good for you. We're in California. So what are you fishing? Rainbow trout? Striped bass? Catfish?
Anything up the bite, except for what we call trash fish. I do game fish, bass, crappie, stuff like that. But anything stupid enough to bite, if you ask me.
I can tell you're a true fisherman. You said anything but trash fish. That is a phrase only people who fish would know. Most people
exactly.
Go, what do you mean trash fish? It means the fish that doesn't taste any good to eat. So you're not going to spend any time catching it, because it's really just you're going to kill the animal for no good sake. If you're going to eat it, right? But you're just like, I just maimed this animal for fun. And real fishermen, usually they eat their catch. That's part of the reason why they like it, is God provided these animals and whatever,
right.
It's mine, and I'm eating the fish, and that's a fair transfer of energy or whatever. Okay. All right. See, we're already hitting it off there. I feel closer to you. I feel more bonded. So that's good. I'm sure the people watching will too. All right, we're going to get right into it. So again, Greg Tatum is a voice actor, and we are talking about his company, the company he works for, ShoNuff Voice Acting. You do a couple different voices. We'll get to that. I think Optimus Prime was one of my favorite ones. ShoNuff, obviously, we'll cover that in depth. And then Bobby Hill, is that right? Bobby Hill from King of the Hill?
And Luann, believe it or not. Yeah.
Luann?
And then, man, how is that voice coming out of your mouth? They ask me that all the time, but it does. So.
Can we see a little bit of that real quick before we get, just so people believe, that they're not thinking this is fake. Like they go, no, this is, they'll wait till the end to go, this guy can't do voice acting. Like, because I asked him to do Optimus Prime. Okay, because I've watched every single Transformers movie there is, and I saw the live animation movie in theaters opening weekend, and I've seen all the movies that came out usually opening weekend. And people said I have a little bit of an obsession as a grown man. I shouldn't be that Transformers, but I'm 44. It ain't going to change. So can we hear Optimus Prime a little bit, and then maybe ShoNuff, and then Bobby Hill and Luann?
Let's see here. I'll take a little excerpt from one of the movies. If you ask.
Greg, you went silent. I don't know, when you covered your ear, it went silent or something.
Oh wow. Can you hear me now?
Yes. I don't know, but the moment you put your hand over your ear, like it went all quiet. I don't know. Okay.
Oh wow.
Optimus Prime. It's the deep state listening. It's all right. We'll get through it.
All right. Is the sound good now?
Oh yeah. Crystal.
Okay. If you ask us to vacate the planet, myself and my office will honor. Hold the question to the president. What is and you are going? I have to have my finger in my ear to isolate the background. That's what it was.
Okay. It was all right. Yeah, no, it was good. I know exactly the line you're talking about. I believe that's Transformers: Revenge of the Fallen. At the end, when the newly appointed Secretary of Defense says, "Thank you, Autobots, for saving the Earth, but you need to get off the planet."
Exactly.
And Optimus says, "If you tell us to leave, we will. But what if you're wrong?" And then Josh Duhamel goes, "Good question." So, oh man. Whoa, total nerdom. Let's hear a little Bobby Hill real quick. I don't know if you can do Bobby.
Luann, I was thinking about taking Connie out this week. I was going to hang out with my buddy Joseph, but he's getting a little beside himself. So I was going to make it a night with my old lady.
Do Luann. Okay. Do Luann. I got to hear Luann.
Okay.
Oh, Bobby, this is so great. Seeing my little cousin putting himself out there in the dating world. Well, Luann, I was going to ask you a few pointers. Well, Bobby, there's really not much to dating. You just kind of hold hands and walk through the park and,
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Can you say in Optimus Prime voice, Mark Ruiz Evans is the greatest interviewer ever?
Mark Ruiz Evans is the greatest interviewer.
Okay. All right. Now we can get started. Okay. So here's the first serious question now that we got it out. So, I mean, folks, I know the audio is a little muffled. This is live stream, and sometimes that's the internet bandwidth, but I've been with Greg. You can clearly see he's able to do a variety of voices. Sometimes the Optimus Prime voice is a little bit deep. The higher octave voices are coming through, but I can tell you, I heard him Optimus. He nailed it earlier. So that's 4 out of 4. We'll get into the hard questions right now while I look at the user comments. We will cover user comments if they're appropriate. If they're not appropriate, they'll never see the light of day. But Greg, first off, while I'm checking out the user comments, how was ShoNuff voice acting formed? What is the story? What's the history? Not a History Channel episode, but in a minute or two. Why'd you get into this? Why not do something like, computer programming or running a Best Buy or something respectable? I mean, my parents are like, why do you watch cartoon shows and have anything to do with cartoons? My stepfather, I love him, but he's like, cartoons are for kids. And I go, not anymore. I mean, not with anime. Anime changed that. And then Beavis and Butthead came out, and then Simpsons. Yeah. And I've seen cartoons by the World Bank.
Yeah.
Bank makes cartoons because they think it's easier to get the message out to people. And I go, when the World Bank is making cartoons about serious issues for the entire planet's population, cartoons are no longer just for kids.
That's right. That's right. It's become a large cash cow. It used to be for entertainment of kids Saturday mornings and stuff like that. You get up, you grab your bowl of cereal or whatever, and you sit in front of the TV. Exactly. But now it's turned into a huge marketing strategy. Yeah, me too.
Right here, I told you, I confessed to you how I was a Transformers nerd.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not joking.
But to answer your question, Mark, I got into the ShoNuff voice acting. I've always loved to be an entertainer. I always loved to act at every opportunity that I could find, the whole 9 yards. So I was trying to figure out how can I do what I love to do and get paid for it. So I thought about it and I said, hey, I may not have the body or the age or the youth or whatever the case may be to go into, live acting on some of these more popular TV shows, whole 9 yards. But I said, you know what? I can kill 3 birds with one stone. I can satisfy my love for entertainment. I can make money, and I can work from home. So, ShoNuff voice acting was born behind that premise. I want to work from home, make a decent amount of money, a decent living, and entertain people because that's what I love to do.
Why the name ShoNuff? How'd that come about? I think there's a character by the same name. How'd that happen?
Yes. The ShoNuff is the Shogun of Harlem from the movie The Last Dragon. Okay, it premiered back in 1985, if I'm not mistaken. And ever since I saw that movie, I've always identified with that character ShoNuff because of his attitude. He has a take no prisoners attitude. If you say you better than me, you got to show me. And that's how I've always lived my life. So he has charisma about him to where he gravitates, people gravitate to him because of his arrogance, so to speak. A lot of people would say he was a bully or whatever the case may be, but no, he was just a person that was misunderstood. He wanted to be the best at what he did, and he wasn't going to let anybody tell him that he wasn't the best. So that's what ShoNuff came from, because I always identified with their character, but it's actually a play on words meaning pure enough voice acting. So, if, for example, if someone tells you, hey, Mark, man, you ShoNuff setting up that dance floor, that means you are out there putting a rut in the dance floor. You popping, you locking, you doing every move that you got in your repertoire, and you are burning up the stage. So if somebody came back to you and said, hey, Mark, you ShoNuff cooked that steak, that means that was the best steak you ever cooked in their mouth. So to take that name, ShoNuff, and say voice acting behind it, I want it to be signified as you are one of the best at voice acting.
I think Barack Obama coined it audacity.
Mm-hmm.
To be audacious, to be so bold as to say, yes, I dare to dream that I could do that and make that big change.
Exactly.
Let's take a look at the meat and potatoes. So what is it that you do, and why do your services stand out from others? So let's say I had a movie, I had a children's video birthday card, and I wanted Optimus Prime in there saying happy birthday. What are the services that you offer? What are the kind of projects that you worked on before? And why is the service quality that you're providing better than your competitors?
Okay, well, as far as the service is concerned, we offer 3 things. We offer performance services, of course. We'll send us your script and we'll go over it with you, and we'll actually put it in a format that you can use. So that's the voice acting whole MO in a nutshell. But we also offer here at ShoNuff Voice Acting, we offer scripting service. Okay, so normally when you run into voice actors, they they'll send you a file. You know, you send them your script, they read it, form it, and then they'll send the file back to you whether you want to edit it or not, or whether they edit it from their script. But we actually write the commercial. So all you have to do is bring us a concept, bring us your idea, and we'll work with you to make sure we put that into a format that you'll put the stamp on. And the full-on production of commercials from start to finish, of course, the client brings their soundtrack, you know, because we don't get into royalties and things like that for using someone's soundtrack. Video, you know, if the client provides the video, you know, we'll blend it all together and produce you a commercial. Now, you know, or an audio book or whatever you require. Now, the way it stands out is this here. I pride myself on everything I do. That's why I took that name Sho Nuff, because of that audacity and, hey, I'm the best at what I do. And if you're better than me, you can't just tell me, you got to actually show me. So I stand out from other freelance voiceover actors, in my opinion. I'm not going to say humble opinion, but in my opinion, I stand out because every project that I take on, it's like I adopted it as my own. It's my baby. You see what I mean? I don't care if it's a full-on production of a Transformers movie, part 10 or whatever the case may be, or someone starting up their own business for the first time. They're trying to get their name out there. Every project, I take it and I have it, and I'm not going to let it go until I got it absolutely, completely, and totally right. For example, I've actually stayed up with a client of mine over the phone doing a live recording so that client can actually compete in real time instead of me delivering something to her and then come back a couple days later, hey, I need a revision or whatever the case may be. Because a client of mine actually posted a comment on my website that struck home with me. So I actually reposted it. And they said, ShoNuff voice acting makes you feel like they want you to succeed just as bad as you do. And that's the whole thing about ShoNuff voice acting. I want to see your project go to the top. Because if my name's going to be on it, I want to see it as much as it can possibly be. And I'll dedicate myself, my time, and my services to making sure that happens.
My grandfather, so for our younger viewers who are under 40, what Greg is describing is something my grandfather, who's in his 70s, used to call pride in a job well done. So let me explain this to some of the younger viewers. It was the concept that even though you weren't getting paid or perhaps paid enough or paid what you felt you were owed, that when you took on a job, you always did that job as good as it possibly could. Not for the, I mean, yes, you're getting money and we live in a capitalist economy, but it was about your personal reputation. It wasn't just, I'm only doing this and you better give me $15. You didn't give me 20, so I'm going to give you a half-assed piece of work. It's no, I won't do that even though you're shorting me, because my personal reputation and my dignity in myself and the fact that I'm a professional is exactly and important to me. Almost a lost concept. I'm glad to see you. I'm half joking, but it's not as popular a belief system these days. I'm glad to see you espouse it.
That's right.
Yeah, we're not going to talk about the generation right now. We'll keep it positive. So let's go to what are some of the top projects being worked on right now for ShoNuff voice acting. Again, we're doing an interview with ShoNuff voice acting with Greg Tatum. You can contact Greg Tatum at Shonuffvoiceacting at yahoo.com. That's SHONUFF, ShoNuff voice acting. Or you can call Greg at 870-267-4371. That's some of his contact information. We'll show you some of the shows that he's working on right now. But what are some of the top projects that you would like to tell or let people know that you can share? I understand that we talked before. There's certain names and certain projects you can't cover. They're in the works. I get it. But what is the people that you're working with, the projects you're working with? now and possibly in the near future that you are okay to talk with us about?
Okay, yeah. Well, one of my favorite projects is an animated series that's in production right now by a company called We Are Loud Productions, which is called Rise of the Last Dragon. I'm a huge Last Dragon fan. I have been since that movie premiered on WGN Channel 9 out of Chicago back in 1985, where my aunt, she actually put a Kodak video cassette tape in a beta VCR and recorded that movie. And believe it or not, that movie on that tape shows as clear as a DVD till this day. So we have the original premiere of Rise of the Last Dragon back in 1985 when it premiered in WGN Channel 9 Chicago. For us, we were in Arkansas. So WGN Channel 9 always had like world premieres, like the Dangerous Tour and stuff like that. So anyway, that tape is really near and dear to my heart because it has the old commercials in it, the whole 9 yards, the old Pepsi commercials, the old Michael Jackson commercials, the whole 9. And that tape still plays to this day. But that's a side note, I'm rambling. So, but Rise of the Last Dragon is, we never got a part 2 to the Last Dragon movie. It became a cultural icon and we never got a part 2. So Rise of the Last Dragon, a company called We Are Loud Productions out of Amsterdam, with some amazing artists, amazing animators. I'm talking about creative geniuses. Patrick DeLong, Fabian, Alice New DeLong. They are some of the most powerful multimedia producers in the world, in my opinion. And they crank out some of these things. It started off as a concept of a little doodle, and he posted it on social media. And when he did that, everybody went crazy because they thought a cartoon was on the way, an animated series was on the way. So he was like, you know what? Hey, it is on the way. So they had a large cattle call for voice actors. I made my submission, and I got the absolute honor to play the role of the Steve Julius Carey, his role of ShoNuff. I won that audition to play his character. And I always said, even when I was younger, I said, one of these days, I'm going to play ShoNuff on TV. I don't know how it's going to happen. I don't know where it's going to come from. But one of these days, I'm going to play ShoNuff on TV. Now you fast forward to a few years ago, and we're already in production for the anime. Extremely talented voice acting cast called the Glow Fam. We call it the Glow Fam because of the glow, in the Last Dragon movie and stuff like that, the golden glow and the crimson glow. And we have actual actors in the voice cast, musicians, we have radio DJs, we have comedians, we have professional singers, and speaking of one of them, he's kind of near and dear to my heart because he plays Beast, which is my sidekick in the movie and in the show, and his name is John Rickenbacker. And he's actually a Christian comedian, he's actor, and he's actual voice artist as well. That guy, he got beat down packed, he nailed it, he talked, and we were going over some different notes and everything about the production and all that, and he just loves what he does, and I have to give a shout out to that guy because I'm talking to him, because he played my sidekick, and he's a good guy. And I can't say enough about Rise of the Last Dragon. We got Warriors of the Day coming out. We have House of the Black Dragon, which is starring Grandmaster Ron Van Cleef. You may know him from the Black Dragon movie, the 70s movies, 70s Black exploitation cinema. Ron Van Cleef is the Black Dragon. And he actually got his name from Bruce Lee in real life. Bruce Lee saw Ron Van Cleef doing his martial arts. And Bruce Lee said, that guy fights like me, like I do. All the difference is he's black. And that's where the name Black Dragon came from. So Ron Van Cleef, wonderful guy. He still competed all the way up to the late 60s. He competed in the UFC against Hoyt Gracie, if I'm not mistaken.
Wow.
Oh, yeah, that guy is amazing. And so he contacted We Allow Productions, or they got together some kind of way, and we're working on an anime from him. As a matter of fact, some of the footage going behind me. And
wow. Okay, that's what that's showing behind you in the screen directly over your head. Okay.
yes, sir.
What are some of the other big projects that
Okay. Well, I'm working with an author friend of mine, author in the shell, and we are working on producing 7 audiobooks before the year is out. Okay, he's a wonderful author. He's visually impaired, so it seems like he make fun of her just call her just a little old blind lady, just a little old blind author or whatever. But he has an amazing imagination, and she submitted a book to me, the voiceover, and I loved it. I mean, I couldn't say too much. I couldn't say enough about it. The book was called Santa Claus Comes to Town, and we are in production now with another book of hers called A Rock in a Hard Place, and I don't know if I can say this, Bat Crap Crazy in Love, like Bat Crazy in Love. It's a college Christmas trilogy. You got that. But
yeah. Bat feces, crazy in love. I understand.
Bat feces, there you go.
Understood. Yes.
Yeah. And also
praise. Yeah. That's
also, I'm in production with Po Mother Production. Miss LaQuinta Reynolds. She's doing an amazing project for the homeless. I mean, and contacted me, and I sat down and talked to her about her project. My mind was blown. I jumped on board. However, I could help the whole 9 because I'm trying to bring awareness to the homeless crisis that's actually in America right now. And she has a wonderful idea for a documentary that we're working on in production right now with Miss Ranisha, Mr. Adam Kolodny from Canada. He's a really great writer. You know, a matter of fact, Rotten Tomatoes, right? You know, he's got 80% Rotten Tomatoes score. You know what I mean? He's written for Stephen Haney. Stephen Haney actually, the Emmy Award winner, actually directed one of his scripts. You know, so we have some amazing talent lined up, and we are all putting our collective, talents together to bring about this project for the homeless, bringing awareness to the homeless community.
Yeah. Quinn Reynolds is the reason that Greg Tatum and I have met. She's a consummate professional and dedicated to the homeless crisis in California. I routinely receive updates from her about, the small things and the big things, like a homeless camp being removed, and then the governor making a statement about homeless and not admitting key issues. So I really liked Quinn for her on the streets activism and the fact that she was able to merge it with high-level policy understanding. So she can see like how people in Sacramento are making statements or speeches and how that trickles down to literally the people on the ground. And she's able to go to the place on the ground and say, see, these the effects of that speech they gave last week or a month ago, and here's how these two things connect. It's very unique to find an activist who has the gumption, let's say, chutzpah, I believe is another word, to actually get out there on the streets and deal with the homeless situations that's almost somewhat dangerous and unpleasant at times, and then also be able to understand the policy implications of that. I've met very few people who can combine that into one brain, and LaQuinta or Quinn Reynolds is definitely that person. But this interview is about you, so let's have some more examples. I understand the audio because we're streaming live, some of the bandwidth issues. So Optimus Prime is a little bit deep voice, I get. But one more time, if we could try Optimus Prime, ShoNuff, Bobby Hill, and Luann having a conversation with each other about what's the best cereal to eat Saturday morning when you're watching cartoons. Fair?
Oh, that sounds good. when I wake up in the morning, ShoNuff. I wake up in the morning, I want me a bowl of show. Oh, sure. It's a cereal, sucker. That's what it is. I sit down, I put out my bowl, I open up my cereal, I pour them in there. Whoa. It's not like that Kukiyaki. That stuff. Why in the world would you call a cereal? No. Because that's what I call it. Don't you worry about it, young man. You just open up your mouth and stuff some in.
Well, I don't really like the taste of the shows. I really don't like it.
Shut up, sucker. Actually, I'll tell you, be quiet as well. But once a minute, before time again. I
know the Optimus Prime lines. I know the Optimus. I've been watching Transformers all week. I know the Optimus Prime lines. We're like, I'll take it back to where it all. Yeah. So I will apologize because we're live streaming. There's a data bandwidth issue. Do not take these examples as the full quality of what Gregory Tatum and ShoNuff can do. It is the bandwidth on this program. This is mostly an interview so you can meet Greg. If you really want to see the real examples, we're going to show you the websites. This is not, the audio is just not doing Greg justice. I want to be very clear. So like when Greg does this, he's got the microphone and he's got the proper bandwidth in order to soak in all of his rich voice. We're not doing that right now. This is an interview stream for casual talk. It is not a high production thing. You wouldn't even do it live through streaming. You'd have it like hardwired into your computer. As you can see, Greg has all the equipment in the background. So I know some of you are going to email me and go, the Optimus wasn't as clean or this. Go to his websites.
Yeah, there you go.
Show you to actually look at the full quality of what he can deliver. Do not take a live stream as an example. Live streams simply cannot process the amount of data that you need to actually get the full richness of Greg's voice there. That's the limit with the technology. That is not Greg. I think you can see the variety of octaves that Greg's hitting, that he can actually transition from person to person to person very quickly, easily in a conversational manner. That was obvious in that point. But again, just to be clear, we're going to give you some of the website links. We'll cover it at the end. We'll show you. That's the actual quality that you can take from that. Watch Transformers Rise of the Fallen. I did last night for the, I think, 25th time. Great movie.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, bro. Hardcore dork.
Exactly.
Don't let the smooth exterior fool you. Right here, okay? I'm the last vehicle. So I'm proud of it. That's the other half. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I was like,
oh, yeah, that's right.
We should have got Laura. Okay, so let's get clear about that. That was a travesty with the series. Laura, you messed up. The right guy was there. It wasn't Stefan. It was Steve.
Yeah, that's right.
That's right? ShoNuff?
Yeah. That's right. That's right, son.
yes, that's right. I watched every episode of that show. Carl Winslow, you were a great cop on the show and in Die Hard. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
What is the main goal or end game for ShoNuff voice acting? I guess this is the where do you see yourself in 5 or 10 years question. Where do you want to be? What is your vision? Where do you see this going, or where do you hope? As my grandma used to say, shoot for the stars, land on the moon at worst. What's your goal? What's your dream? Whether you can achieve it or not, we should all have visions, especially men. Where do you see this going? What's your passion? Where would you like to be?
Well, that one's easy. That one's easy. Okay. A household name is the end game for the ShoNuff voice acting. My mission is to provide professional voice acting services to help bring your project to life. And that's what I stand by. ShoNuff voice acting, mark my word, is going to be a household name. I want to be one of the go-to services when a client needs a project voice, because I feel like when you give a project a voice, you make it come alive. Because you can show some still shots of a character or whatever the case may be. But until you put a voice behind that character, you're just looking at pictures, well-drawn pictures of cartoons, right? So household names, that's easy. That is the end game for ShoNuff Voice. I want to become a household name and a go-to for all voice acting services, from big movie productions all the way down to, like I said, grand openings of local business. I want to be one of the go-to guys to get that taken care of.
I love the passion. I love the vision. I love the passion, and I love the vision. It reminds me of Kurt Cobain, the singer for Nirvana. He always knew he wanted to be a rock star. Like, the guy never really had a real job, and was living off people, and kind of a bum for most of his life. And it never really bothered him, because in his mind, he's like, I'm going to be a rock star. Like, he never doubted that at all. Nobody else really saw it. They're like, you lived at your girlfriend's for 3 years with no job. And he's like, yeah, but I'm going to be a rock star. So, right. I mean, just the pure passion. Obviously, you're earning a stable income and providing for yourself while working. And for young men, that's how I would suggest you do it. Don't just live off your girlfriend. It's okay to hold a job while you work towards your big vision. It's okay to do that. You don't have to, like, I'm quitting my job and tattooing my face in order to be committed to my art. Maybe tattoo not your face, maybe just your neck. And, still be committed. I didn't say don't be committed, but keep a job maybe a little bit in the background while doesn't have to be the job you like. I know a lot of guys who work jobs they don't like, and they're like, I'm just doing this till I become whatever X I want to be.
That's right.
And that's great. You could be a fireman. I've met guys who are holding a job they don't like at the Quickie Mart or 7-Eleven or Best Buy, and they're like, I'm doing this till I'm being a fireman, and my goal is to be good for you. Right?
That's right.
Good for you. We've all worked menial jobs. Doesn't mean you have to like it. Doesn't mean you should settle for it. I don't know. I just, Greg, I'm not going to get into it, but these are old school values, and they are a diminishing art. So I hope some younger guys see this, and younger people see this and go, this is what it's okay for men to be this way. What are some of the transitions coming for SNVA? What are the big changes you see coming around the horizon, the bend, so to speak?
Some of the things that we're working on, I want to do this. ShoNuff Voice Acting is getting ready to introduce its first female voice. Now, as you see, I can do female, but I want to do it too. So what we did was, I went out and I approached one of my friends who's a voice actor as well. She does a wonderful impersonation, and she does wonderful voiceover services. And I asked her, would you work with me? She agreed. So soon, I'm not going to divulge her name right now, but ShoNuff Voice Acting will be introducing their first female voice actor that's on the roster. The ShoNuff Voice Acting roster. What that's going to do, that's going to open up a lot more gigs, a lot more opportunities, because I'm a guy. My voice range also only goes so high. Like, I couldn't do an Aretha Franklin or something like that there, but he ain't. So that's coming up, and I'm not a real social media buff. I really don't know how to navigate it and everything. That's kind of why, I need help with marketing and stuff like that there, because the services that I provide, a lot of people don't know about it, because I am not, an influencer on Instagram or whatever the case may be, because voice acting is it's a thankless job, thankless profession. So when you hear the voice on your favorite video game or your favorite cartoon or your favorite movie, you kind of like, hey, I just want to enjoy the game. I want to enjoy the cartoon. I want to enjoy the movie. I don't care who's making the voice in the back, as long as they sound good. You know what I mean? So marketing is one of the things that I'm trying to get better at, and bringing in the female voice is actually going to help with my marketability for ShoNuff voice acting. And I'm not a social media buff, like I said, but we are getting ready to launch a ShoNuff voice acting Twitter page. Now, I don't know how that's going to go over or whatever, because I don't know how to make things trending or, I leave that to younger people. So, those are a couple of things that's coming up, and my favorite thing that's coming up is this. You know how I told you earlier in the interview that we take your customers' footage, we take the customers' sound effects and everything, and we add them into the videos and the voiceovers to the script.
Yeah.
So voice acting was getting prepared to actually be able to film your commercials for you. So to actually come to your location, film you. Let's just say you got a soul food restaurant or something like that. Film you doing some of your day-to-day activities, and actually make a full-on production out of it. So instead of you delivering, being responsible for your own acting, your own food shots, your own still photos and everything, we want to take on that additional challenge as well. That way, we can broaden our scope of the services that we actually have to offer. I'm really excited about that. It's coming soon. I'm getting ready to announce capabilities here. Soon as anything.
Once again, we are talking with voice live actor Greg Tatum of Shonuffvoiceacting. The company is called Shonuffvoiceacting. The man you're seeing right now is Gregory Tatum. That's Gregory Tatum right now on the screen. And he is behind ShoNuff, meaning I'm committed, I'm doing a good job, I won't have some slack-ass level of work. Voice acting. And what good way to contact him is Sho, SHONUFF, voice acting. So ShoNuffvoiceacting at yahoo.com. You can also call Greg at 870-267-4371. He also has an Instagram page, which we're going to show you here in a minute. ShoNuff voice acting, and we're going to show you some of the live samples that were recorded correctly, so you can see the full abilities Greg has. So ShoNuff voice acting with Greg Tatum. Again, you can reach him at ShoNuffvoiceacting at yahoo.com, or call him, text him 870-267-4371, or you can find him on Instagram for ShoNuff voice acting. We're going to show you that in just a second after we get to our last question. So you are ready to work, and you wanted to do an open call for gigs.
That's right. That's right. Hey, bring it on. Bring it on. Bring it on. Like I said, I'm not very social media savvy. So, hey, I have to take every opportunity that I can to advertise. And I'm taking that opportunity. I'm so glad that you gave me this opportunity to do just that, and which is advertise. Hey, and I appreciate that, because your show can reach a lot more people than my Instagram page. Like I said, I'm not one of these trending guys or whatever the case may be, because voice acting is kind of a thankless profession. But I'm ready to work. Hey, Chrysler Corporation, I'm ready to do commercials for big name companies, big business, even the small businesses. Like I said, everything that I do is my faith. So as long as I'm going to adopt it, and I'm going to treat the new local business owner just as well as I would treat the president of Sony Pictures. You know what I mean? So y'all hit me up. Talk to me. Get in touch with me. I actually have a website as well, www.ShoNuffvoiceacting.com. You click on the website, you click on the microphone, get a little 1-2 bio about me. Scroll down, check out some of my voice samples, check out some of my reels, and scroll down to the bottom of the website. There's actually a contact form to fill out. And once you fill out that contact form, we'll receive it and we'll contact you back. We'll sit down, talk about the project, and we're going to stick all the way to the end until you say, that's what I'm looking for. So if we get to the end and you say, nah, you think we can creep it? We can creep it. You're not going to just say, oh, well, here, take it as you get, take it as you get. You only get one revision, or you only get two revisions, and I'm done with it. No, we don't have that type of attitude. When I put my name on something, on ShoNuff voice acting, I want you to say, because word of mouth is the best advertisement. It just don't reach that many people. But word of mouth, I want you to be able to say, ShoNuff voice acting was the best voiceover company I've ever worked with, and I would not hesitate to give them all of my future business. That's what I want.
I believe you. We talked about the work ethic, as displayed in the previous generation. I remember my grandfather was very clear about it. You take a job and it's a matter of personal pride. And right. I know this generation is like, well, you shorted me $5, so I'm going to do 50% less work. And I get it. It's capitalism. We're not working for free. The Soviet Union fell because it didn't work. But at the same time, there's a lost art of pride in work and dignity in your name. And the fact that you turned something in with your name attached to it that wasn't as good as it could be. My grandfather was talking about carpentry, but it really applies to everything. You just don't turn in shoddy work with your name attached to it out of respect for yourself.
That's right.
Not for the other person, for yourself.
That's right.
Lost art. Anyways, Greg Tatum, ShoNuff voice acting. All right, I'm going to show some of the websites with your permission. So we're going to do a split screen. And I'll show some of these. Okay, so this is, Greg, you see your Instagram page?
Yes, sir. I sure do.
Okay, so here it is, ShoNuff voice acting. You can type it in. Here's on Instagram. All the voiceovers all the time. I want to play one of these clips I saw. Looked like it was. Here you go. Oh, I got to sign in. Really?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Anyways, here's Optimus Prime, where it sounds correct. Here's ShoNuff. Here's ShoNuff.
That's right there, Mark. That if you scroll down a little bit, I'm partial to that one as well. Stop right there. That Mom Ra. I know that's tissue paper that I'm wrapped up in, but that was actually a voiceover that I did of Mom Ra, the Ever Living from the Thundercats series. And
you did Mom Ra from Thundercats? Mom Ra!
Oh yeah, I love that voiceover. Yeah.
I know it's not. I know the audio's not going to come out. Can you do a little Mom Ra and just threaten Lion-O? Maybe just say something like Lion-O, I'll get you, or
yeah.
Oh, you got that.
The ancient spirits of evil will transform this to Mom Ra, the ever
Yes, that was it. If you watched Thundercats every single episode, as I did, that is Mom Ra. He was the leader of the bad guys on the planet.
Yeah, oh yeah.
The half cat superheroes found themselves. Whoa, did you do Super Saiyans?
Oh yeah, Vegeta. Yeah, yes. I love Vegeta from the Dragon Ball series, and I actually like Vegeta over Goku because I don't know. He has that same mentality as ShoNuff. Mark, that Dragon Ball Z series was loosely based, or probably not as loosely based, on The Last Dragon. Because if you think of it, you have a character, he's humble, he's the best. He turns out to be the best, but he's very humble. Then you have Vegeta on the other hand, he's more in the mind of ShoNuff. You can't defeat me. I don't care who you are. He doesn't care. He's going to go in there and start fighting, and if you're going to beat a man, you're going to have to beat the man, and that's Vegeta's attitude. So I kind of think that whole show was based on Last Dragon. I could be wrong.
No, that's not the controversial statement you made. It was that Goku's not the baddest character in that whole thing. That's yeah. You have comments on that one, so especially from my family members who watch that show.
Yeah.
Here's Bobby Hill, as we showed you. Here's Optimus.
And that is
Sound Blaster.
Yeah, that's great. That is one of the hardest voiceovers I've ever done because, as you know, the voice of Soundwave was vocoded. And that's when you go in there and you add a computer reverb, so it sounds like it's an robot, but it actually.
Yes. Oh, nice. You're doing it. Nice.
Yeah. So, but to do that without any computer assistance, it takes a lot. So when you say ravage, rumble, attack, operation, destroy, Autobot, domicile, those kind of things, they take a lot from your throat. They take a lot of breath control, the whole 9 yards, to try to split your vocal cord to make it sound like it's more than one voice coming out of your mouth, out of your throat. And that's where the vocoding comes in. That the vocoding is it's a tactic that's used. And I now I don't know if you'll agree with me or not, but I was talking to one of my buddies, and the sound wave in the movie, I would have liked it to be the old school voice, the old vocoded voice.
Yep.
Okay. I'll be in agreement.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I would have liked that, to hear that old voice come back out again, because Frank Welker, rest in peace, the guy who played the voice of Megatron, he passed away, and so the deal is to hear sound waves. That didn't really go over with me as much as it would have if they would have put the vocoding back into his voice. I know they were going for the realism, the whole 9 yards, and they did a wonderful job. But me being an old Transformers fan, I'm not as fanatical as you are, but me being an old Transformers
fair. That's a fair critique. I'm not going to get mad. I have a problem, and I'm never going to seek help or try to get over it. So
okay.
Like Amy Winehouse, they're going to rehab for Transformers. I don't have a drinking problem. I have a Transformers problem though. But I can tell you, folks. So go to the Instagram page. Do not take this interview as anything other than information and getting to know the company and what they do. If you're actually looking for the full quality, it has to be recorded correctly. Here's The Last Dragon, some more ShoNuff, Mum Ra, Last Dragon, Transformers, Mum Ra, more Last Dragon, and then there's some more down here. So go to the Instagram page and you can hear it. I'm not logged in, so we're not going to be able to show that, but we can show you this. And this does play. So this is the Rise of the Last Dragon. And Greg, it's okay that I show a little bit of this?
Go right ahead, Mark.
Okay, so let's do this. Cue it up. Make sure it's nice and loud.
The guy's amazing. He produces his own beat, the whole 9 yards.
It's impressive. I mean, the animation is as good as the Superman, Batman movies that they have coming out on Redbox, like full-blown animation. So you're already at that full corporate level. Like, you're matching the level of that DC and Marvel put out for their, not live action, but their animated movies.
That's right.
So, I mean, I watch that stuff. So, I don't watch that, and I did to prepare for this interview. That's
exactly.
Exactly.
And as you can see, he does what you call the Datrix effect, where he blends in real life footage. And like Who Framed Roger Rabbit? You remember that old movie?
Yeah.
See, he does what we call the Datrix effect, where he blends in actual footage from the movie. He blends in actual background, the whole 9 yards, and he puts animated characters on top of that.
Yeah, that's
crazy.
That's pretty hot. So, folks, you can see this is one of the productions coming out. Greg Tatum's very pleased about The Rise of the Last Dragon. You can go to theriseofthelastdragon.com to look at the promo. But this is the promo. This is as quality as any of the Marvel or DC or other comic book universe animated movies that are coming out. If you watch the Batman or Superman ones, they're getting super high level. I mean, the audio, the video, the sound, the integration, the storyline, it's all there. It's well put together. Obviously, if you're not a cartoon fan, I get it, but most of us are, and this is pretty damn high quality. Obviously, it comes from just a little bit of nostalgia. The Last Dragon, and this is the film that inspired Greg.
Mm-hmm.
That's ShoNuff, I believe. You said, am I getting
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. I was going to be embarrassed if I got it wrong. And that was the very beautiful, I believe her name was Vanity, and she dated both Rick James and Prince.
Mm-hmm.
Good for her. Those were some of the big names back then. So, and she was in Action Jackson. So,
yeah.
I'm just going to assume she dated Carl Weathers too. Just throw it in there. Here's The Last Dragon. So, this came out on TV. This obviously inspired Greg, and there's ShoNuff. And then Greg learned how to make the stuff. So here's Vanity music with Prince and Rick James. And just I wanted to just show you guys this real quick. So this is the World Bank. Critical water issues. Now they could have had a professor come up here and talk, but this is what the World Bank felt was a good use of money in order to educate billions of people in, I don't know, 210 different nations and maybe 500 different languages.
Exactly.
You're talking about people from Africa to Asia to Latin America to Antarctica to the Eskimos, and you got to get all of them to understand water. By 2050, 2/3 of the world's population is going to not have water. That's a huge amount of people. Yeah, and they could have had a person or made a live action thing. What they did was they made this cartoon because they felt cartoons would be accepted. And this is a serious issue. They're talking about drought for 3/4 of the global population. We're talking about potentially millions of people dying if this issue isn't handled well. Super serious issue, right up there with climate change. 114 billion a year. Millions of people could potentially be dead. And they didn't say, oh, cartoons, that's for kids.
Exactly.
They said cartoons maybe is what's going to work so that everybody across multiple different cultures and nations and backgrounds can understand what we're talking about. And I love that because it's not just for kids anymore. I mean, this is the World Bank making this cartoon. They did other issues. So when the World Bank is,
big nation.
when the World Bank is doing that, you kind of tell where cartoons are at, and it's not just for kids. Obviously, there's kiddie cartoons, and my niece loves those, and that's great. And I don't really watch those, but there's a lot more serious subject matter with cartoons, and a lot of like high production, like equal entertainment. I've watched some of the Batman animated movies and was as entertained as the Batman live action movies because the storyline and the action was pretty good. You get bad movie's a bad movie. Good script writing, characters, dynamic plot twists, and interesting characters, and then the voices and the accoutrement, the sound and the voice and the acting and the storyline are parallel between live action movies and cartoons depending on the production quality. So you can get a similar level of drama and being captivated. It was some Batman or Superman thing, and I forget what it was, but I actually cried because there was some part where like they were building you up like he had a partner, and then at the end he had to sacrifice that person. And I was actually emotionally invested in that person. I caught myself being highly emotional. I'm like, this is a cartoon, and I go, but it was done well.
And that's the sign of good actors. That's why it's called voice acting, because one of the tricks to being a voice actor, if you want to get your sound out or you want to be more believable, you would actually be making faces to the microphone, right? So, for instance, if I said something and you could not see my face, you would kind of think that, hey, this is just mundane, monotone, or whatever the case may be. But if I said something and you couldn't see my face, like I'm gonna bust your head without doing any kind of acting, without doing any kind of facial expressions or anything like that, it won't come off the same. I tell people all the time, your attitude and how you are feeling is going to come out over the microphone. If you are excited about something, it's going to come out in your voice. If you are upset about something, it's going to come out in your voice. So that's where voice acting comes into play, because we actually sit here in a room in front of a microphone by ourselves with the door closed and the whole 9 yards and get mad at each other, get mad at myself. You just get that sucker to the designated place. I have to make those, what I'm trying to say, I have to make those expressions and things to, attenuate that in my voice. You get that sucker to the designated place at the designated time, and I will gladly designate his ass for this member. Now, if I said that without any action, you just put that to the designated place at the designated time, and I will gladly designate his ass this member. That doesn't sound too believable. Now, does it? So when you put the acting in there with it, by yourself, in your room, in front of a microphone, that changes the whole thing.
Oh, yeah. If you watch the old martial arts movies that inspired Rise of the Dragon and stuff, they all came out of like Hong Kong. I think Bruce Lee did a fair amount of them. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then they did voiceovers, and you really couldn't tell. It was like, I will fight you. I'm angry. Yeah.
Yeah.
My father. And you're like,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And the emotion was, they'd always have to state like, I'm mad at you because you killed my sister, or I'm mad at you because you burned down my Shaolin temple and I have to fight for honor, because you could never get the emotion with the acting or the voices, because the voices were so just like a guy reading a script from Chinese and translating it into English. Like you literally sense like, I will get you. You're going to get it bad. You hurt my dog, and so therefore I will fight for honor of my dojo and our 200-year tradition of honest.
Exactly, because they weren't doing the actual acting. Yeah, it's crazy, Mark, because you get the infamous laugh. The master will come out. So when they get the translated script and they get the script translated into English, of course, Japanese language or Chinese language, whatever language that's in the original movie, does not match up with the same tempo, syllables, the whole 9 yards as the English language. So this is where they have that horrible dubbing, but that old kung fu movies have become famous for. When I'm talking to you, Mark, we need that. I'm going to make sure you pay for what you did. Things like that. And it's always delayed. What you did.
You have offended my plan.
Yeah, exactly.
They go on, their mouth just moves and moves and moves and moves and moves, and then it's something like, I'm mad at you. They're like,
okay. That's short. You said all that.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah.
No.
And you can tell they've realized their own mistake, because if you watch a lot of the Hong Kong movies coming out of there now, they'll have different actors. They'll have women play the women. They'll have old men voice over for the old men. They'll have young men voice for the old men. They'll have different people play the different characters. So when you're listening to the audio, it tracks more evenly. And they're doing what you're doing. They'll have their actors, and then they'll have a crew of voice actors.
There you go.
Voice resembles the character. So you don't have one monotonous voice going through all the characters. Like, as a woman, I could never marry you. As your husband, I don't know if I love you anymore. Like, and it could be some really pretty girl, but you're like, that sounds like a dude. So I get it. you had to be a real fan. So absolutely, even that industry that did that has realized the mistake there and has really tuned into, they're putting more serious money into voice acting whenever they transition their Asian movies for English-speaking markets. So because of what you're talking about, it makes a more captivating film. You can become emotionally invested, and cartoons are for adults. But we still want the high-quality entertainment. We want to feel something. We want to study the story of good fighting over evil. And yeah, any last-minute thoughts, things you'd like to share? We have your contact information here, Greg Tatum, Shonuffvoiceacting at yahoo.com, 870-267-4371. It's a real phone number. It's a real email. Go to Rise of the Last Dragon. Watch the entire preview. It's awesome. Or go to Instagram. Go to Instagram and look up Shonuffvoiceacting. Use the Instagram, not this interview. Use the Instagram, not this interview, as the full example of the quality. Again, this is a stream. We cannot do the full audio quality that is really deserved, because you need the proper microphone and you need to be able to handle that much digital
phone.
Yeah. I mean, just because for someone like Greg, there's a lot of richness in his voice, and the wires simply cannot capture all of that as it's transitioning live to you. So picture Greg's voice, and we're like stripping off part of it, and you're getting kind of a
block radio is a good example.
Yeah.
Block radio. Yeah.
Yeah. It's I mean, it's there. I ran him through the motions. You can see that he can do a range of voices very quickly on demand. But I would just hate for people to watch this and go, God, his Optimus Prime wasn't that good. It is that good. His Bobby is that good. His Leanne is that good. His ShoNuff is that good. Go to the Instagram page for your final decision on Greg's ability. Do not use this. But you can use this interview to understand who Greg is, what he's trying to do, why he's doing it, and where he thinks he's going to go. And we're happy to provide that service. If you'd like to be interviewed about whatever it is you do, we are happy to do that. I'm Mark Ruiz-Evans, your host. Greg, take us out. What I'd like to do is, this is a little exercise I do with everybody. It's funny you cough, because the exercise is this. You and I are in an elevator. I have $1 billion, and I need cartoons. You have 2 and no more than 2 minutes, and you're never going to see me again. What would you tell me to get in my head so that when I leave the elevator, I can't stop thinking about hiring ShoNuff voice acting for my new $1 billion cartoon? Remember, you have 2 minutes. I'm gone. You'll never see me again. There's no chance for follow-up, but I'm in the market for what you do. What would you say? How would you talk to me? And yes, I'm putting you on the spot because we want to see how well you personify your passion. 2 minutes. I'm timing you. Starting now. Hi. Interesting meeting you in the elevator.
Hey, how you doing today, Mr. Evans? Let me introduce myself. My name is Greg Tatum of Shonuffvoiceacting. I'm getting word hearing through the grapevine that you're in the market for some production work. That's funny you met me in this elevator, because that's what I do. So I'm hearing that you are in the market and you are trying to produce and seeking voiceover actors, production, the whole 9 yards for your cartoon project that's coming up. So it's a chance meeting, but everything is not happening by chance. Some things you were in the right place at the right time and you met me. So therefore, I would like to put it out there. We offer here at Shonuffvoiceacting a sense of adoptiveness with our project. So your project is not going to be put on the back burner with other projects because this one pays more money or this one doesn't pay as much money. No. Every project that crosses my desk is going to get full-on attention. It's going to get full-on production. It's going to get the best that I can absolutely give you as humanly possible, unless my throat, unless I catch laryngitis. So with that being said, I would like to sit down with you and discuss your project that you have going on. And I would like you to seriously consider letting ShoNuff voice acting take your baby, because this is your baby. This came out of your mind. This came out of your thoughts. It came out of your dreams. You want to see it happen, and you want to see it happen right. So with that being said, hand it over to me. We'll talk about it, discuss it. We'll fine tune it, and whatever you need, I'm going to deliver for you. So I'm not going to put my stamp on it. I'm not going to give you trash. I'm not going to give you garbage. If you say you don't like it, we'll go back to the drawing board. So ShoNuff voice acting is in the business of creating masterpieces. But if you look at my back of my business card here, it says, let's create your next masterpiece. And by saying your next masterpiece, that takes it away from me. Outside of my head, I want to take your vision and I want you to mind meld me like Dr. Spock used to do in Star Trek. And I want you to put into my head what you want to see. Now, let's get to work.
Do it with me, Greg.
There you go.
My man. Live long and prosper, brother. I'm glad I did that. I hope everybody saw, I put Greg on the spot. I didn't tell him I was going to do that. We did a long interview, so he was warmed up, and then I go, you got 2 minutes, spit. And he did. And I hope that you saw that when I put him in that position, Greg very clearly knew what he wanted to say, and he was very animated about it, which means you have genuine passion.
That's right. That's right.
He's up here faking, and I put him on the spot. I like that exercise because if they're faking and I put them on the spot, you can kind of tell.
Yeah, that's slick. That's slick.
They're like, I think I would say, and nobody really knows what to say, but you can tell the people who I'm about this.
That's right.
Versus I'm kind of dabbling and maybe I'm looking into this. No, I'm about, because they always come alive when the pressure's on, and you can just tell in their voice and the intonation that this is important to me. Like I'm actually into this.
I'm all in.
Yeah, so you passed the test.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. Yes, you get a complimentary nothing, but knowing that you passed the test. So congrats to you. I mean, you pat yourself on the back. People realize I'm for real.
Yeah.
Oh, we got a question here. Do you teach voice acting and voiceover workshops?
Well, yes and no. I'm always trying to help other people. Because other people help me. I was talking to a couple of friends and getting information about the industry, getting information about voiceover tactics and strategies and things like that. So I like to try to pay that forward. You know what I mean? Things that I have learned over the years, I have no problem whatsoever telling you. And so you can get your voice acting company off the ground. So for instance, the example I used a few minutes ago about actually making the facial expression, actually, getting into it, even though you're in a room by yourself, sitting in front of a microphone, you actually get into your actual character. So those are the type of things that I would tell somebody else, somebody else who wants to get into voice acting. First question I'll ask is, and this is the same question that I asked my female co-worker that's going to be introduced here a little bit later on. How serious are you about your voice acting career? She told me 9.5. I said, you hired. Because a lot of people, and she told me that straight out. She didn't I gotta think about it. She didn't do none of that. She said 9.5. That's how serious I am about it. And the only reason I'm not on a scale of 10 is because I have so many other things going on right now that's back in my focus. I have food. I have, job, stuff like that there. So you can kind of understand why a person wouldn't say 10. But to say 9.5 and to say it quickly, right off the spot like that, that lets me know that she's the one. So when I answer that question. So anyway, teaching someone else, I have no problem doing that. I do it, on a normal basis. I just don't do it for, compensation or whatever. Whatever I know, I'll tell somebody else. Hey, there's enough money on this planet, there's enough money in America for everyone to be rich if they wanted to be. So why would I hold back something that I know to try to make sure you don't get to the level that I am? If you get to the level and you pass me, that is wonderful. That is great. Just look back here and try to grab me if I'm grounded. You know what I mean? I have that kind of attitude, man. I don't believe in sabotage. I don't believe in people not going for what they want. If you want to do it, I say this all the time. I'll find out it was not for me after I'm dead. Now, when I die and I realize, oh, I didn't accomplish this, I didn't achieve this, that's when I'll know it's not for me.
Part of me wants to cry just because you've espoused a lot of the characters that I remember my grandfather teaching me, Melbourne Holt, and it really is just not as displayed in these current times by the youth and by people who aren't the youth but are just fitting into the way things are now. Dedication to process, a commitment to passion, respect and a job well done, and commitment and hard work to your craft to be the best that you can be. My hat is off to you. Okay, we're going to end it there. Thank you, Greg. ShoNuffvoiceacting at yahoo.com, 870-267-4371. ShoNuffvoiceacting on Instagram.
And before you go, Mark, if you don't mind, I would like to, a couple of websites. You guys can go to www.ShoNuffvoiceacting.com. And like I said, scroll down to the bottom of the page and fill out the contact form. I will get it in email and I will respond to you ASAP. www.riseofthelastdragon.com. I believe, you showed the website on your feed there on your split screen. And also, www.authorinlachelles. That's author, the letter N, LICHELLS.com. Authorinlachelles.com. She got some amazing audio books coming out. www. Poe Mother Production. Homeless Are Us. Check those things out. Check those sites out, and see how you can get involved. See how you can, especially with this homelessness project. See how you can get involved. Everybody has something that they want to do. Like you said earlier in the interview, sometimes we work jobs that we don't want to work, things like that. But everybody has a little dream. And sometimes all you need is that little push over the edge because you're afraid to jump out there. You're afraid to make it happen, or try to make it happen. So somebody has come, bump your little butt off the cliff, you might start flying. So check out those websites and enjoy these people's dreams. These people's dreams. Author in Lachelles, she's, like I said, a visually impaired novelist. And she can put the story together and have you crying. So anyway, just check out those sites and see what we can find out, see what we can do, and enjoy yourself most of all.
It was a little bit inspirational doing this interview this morning. Thank you for your time, Greg. And I will email you and text you the YouTube link where you can share this. And if you would like to be interviewed and you're a decent human being, contact me. Mark Ruiz Evans. That's marcus.ruiz.evans@gmail.com. Thank you, Greg. I hope you enjoy the rest of your Saturday. I have about 5 hours of cartoons and 5 gallons of cereal I need to eat because I'm doing for that. So I can get back on track. Yeah, no, there's a lot of Transformers cartoons I got to get to. So a lot of cartoons and cereal to eat. Important priority in my life. Yeah, I hope you understand.
Oh, yeah, I do. I appreciate you again, Mark. You have a nice day, and I'll check you out next time.
Okay.